Hello, happy dwellers, and welcome to the first official episode of the Happy Dwelling podcast. I hope you have been well and are creating those great habits so your dwelling place can be a happy one. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It means the world to me that you took time out of your day to come and hang out with me and to see what this podcast is all about. So this is definitely like the fifth time I'm re-recording this because I really want to make it perfect. There's a lot of pressure to put out the correct intro podcast because it's the first one, and if anyone clicks on it and they don't like the vibe that I'm setting here, they're going to click off, and I don't want them to do that. So I've just been recording, deleting, and then recording again to make it perfect. But something I'm realizing is that it's never going to be perfect, and those that will click off will do that anyway. So I should just get on with it and do my best. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep on with this one, and we're actually going to not delete this one. This will be what you hear. And for those of you that are sticking around, thank you once again. The purpose of this episode is to introduce who I am and also, obviously, the podcast. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Victoria Williams. I am a lover of all things science and all things health and all things nutrition, so much so that I went to school and got a BS in biology. Then I went and got an MS in nutrition so that I can learn to love those things even more. And they compliment me, if I do say so myself. I come from a family of health nuts, you can say, at least on my father's side. I would have been the third generation of dietitian in my family. My grandmother was one, my aunt was one. My paternal grandparents were health nuts, so much so that I would go over their house and it would reek of garlic because my grandfather consumed so much garlic because it has all these wonderful health properties. That was before they had them in capsule form, so he just smelled like garlic. But that was the norm. They had a handful of walnuts a day. And they really just did the thing. They did what they were supposed to do based off of what they were told from the media, from the church, etc., about what it is to be healthy. And they did their best. And I'm so grateful for them exposing that to me because I am also a health nut. Not sure if that's a genetic thing or an environmental thing, but I got it too. I got the bug. And I am grateful for that bug because, I don't know, I'm just so passionate about health and wellness. And I genuinely believe that this is my life's purpose. Like, God put me here on this earth to help somebody else out in this domain. Because why else would I love it so much? Why else would it be something that just makes me tick? You know what I mean? If you've known me for any period of time and have followed me on any of my social media platforms, you probably know that this is not my first attempt to do something in the health education wellness space. I have had multiple YouTube channels. I have multiple Instagram pages. I've got a TikTok. I'm not sure if there's anything else, but the point is I have actually tried multiple different things and they have not been very successful. So I tried to make sure that this platform would be different. Of course, it's different. I'm an avid podcast listener for the past 4 years or so. So I understand that it's kind of a different audience in this space than some of the other social media platforms. And I wouldn't even call this a social media platform. For one, I don't have to show my face, which is awesome. So you guys can't see my tired eyes and the stain that I have on my shirt. So that's awesome. My lighting is off and you can't see me. So that's also awesome. And there's a lot less pressure because I'm just talking into a microphone. There's no camera lens in sight. So I think this is a much better, much more natural platform for me anyway. The definition of insanity is to do something over and over the same way and expect different results. So I decided that this time around, instead of having the idea, jumping in it feet first or head first without any real plan or backup, that I was going to take my time with this one because I don't want it to fail. I, for the past 3 months, have been putting together podcast episodes through recording and editing and writing out the show notes and writing out the notes so that I can flow within the podcast for 3 months, like I said. So this is not the first podcast that I've recorded. I wanted to get a hang or feel of what I'm doing before I fully committed to this and fully put it out there this time around. So if you are listening to this, that means that I have actually succeeded at creating a stockpile of podcast episodes to give to you. And I really, really hope that doing that this time around will allow me to be consistent and to give you guys things that I think are both beneficial for an audience, but also myself. This podcast is going to challenge me to be consistent this time around. But more than that, it's going to help me improve my understanding of health and wellness because I'm going to dive into the literature. This isn't going to be one of those fully opinionated podcasts. We're going to look and see what the science says because that's important. We're also going to check our biases at the door because it's so easy to come into a topic thinking that you already know where it's going and you kind of omit or exclude the journal articles or the books that don't agree with your topic. We're going to look at both sides of the equation because I think that's the only fair way to come to any type of conclusion or any type of thought that leads to an action. But most of all, I really hope that this podcast is able to provide practical, real-world advice that can be implemented through little tangible steps. So at the end of every episode, I'm going to give some examples of what you can do to improve based off of that topic. Some of the health topics we'll be discussing are stress, sleep, meditation, nutrition, of course, physical activity, mental health, and everything in between. Even though I am in this health space, I am not perfect myself. So my expectations for this are to grow and change along with my audience as we learn more and understand more and respect our bodies more. The name that I decided to give this podcast is the Happy dWELLing Podcast because I do believe that our bodies are our dwelling place. It's the dwelling place for our spirit. And in order for us to feel at peace, at home, happy, we've got to make sure that our bodies, our dwelling place is good. Just like in order for you to feel good being at home or feel that aha feeling, you've got to clean up your environment. If you've got clothes all over the floor, if your bathroom's dirty, your dishes aren't done, you're not going to feel at ease. But when you get that stuff out of the way, when everything is clean, when everything is in place, when everything is right, you will feel at ease. The title of this podcast is the Happy dWELLing Podcast because I want us to take steps towards being happy in our body, in our dwelling place. I plan to drop 2 other episodes along with this one, so make sure you guys give those a listen. And just about every week to drop an episode that should be between 20 and 30-ish minutes long. So hopefully I don't take up too much of your time. And if you're here to the end, thank you for being here. And I really, really do hope you enjoy this podcast and that it lives up to all of your expectations and more. That is all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for spending your time listening to me. I hope you join me in the next one to learn more about health topics that can help you improve your life so you can be happy in your dwelling place. Love y'all. Bye.